A show created by the fans, for the fans. We are your home for Ohio State football coverage all year long. The Scarlet and Gray Podcast, a Network 216 production. Live weekdays on the Network 216 YouTube channel. Send us all your questions and comments on Twitter at @VSG_podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Tyler Johnson, Jordan Dalton, and Nick Leisure.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a Network 216 edition of the Scarlet and Gray Podcast. I am Tyler Johnson, joined by Jordan Dalton and Nick Leisure. Gentlemen, how are we doing on this fine evening?
Marvin for Heisman.
Glad he got the invitation.
At the very least, I'm glad I at least got that.
Doing
Get
well.
to enjoy all the festivities.
Yeah, I'm doing well. Get to do all the to go through all the interview processes and stuff. That would be cool for him.
A lot of stuff to talk about tonight, for sure.
Oh yeah, a lot of fun things to talk about tonight because the transfer portal is now open. Of course, before we get to any of it, as a reminder, everyone, if you are joining us on YouTube, we ask that you just take a second, drop a like onto the video, and subscribe. If you are brand new to Network 216, we are currently on the push for 3,000 subscribers before 2024. So please help us get there. We really would appreciate that support. Also, the Scarlet and Gray Podcast is proud to be a partner of Homage Athletic Apparel. We were at Homage over the weekend, and I'm telling you right now, they got some great sales going on. You want to make sure, if you can't get down to Homage, which is located in Columbus, you want to make sure that you check them out, homage.com. All kinds of sales as you're getting close to Christmas time. You want to get a gift card for someone, makes a great stocking stuffer. So make sure you take advantage. That's homage.com. All right, gentlemen. Well, let's just start with the biggest news of the day, of course. At 6 o'clock this morning, Kyle McCord announced that he was entering the transfer portal. Kyle McCord started every single game for the Buckeyes this year. First off, I want to know what your guys' thoughts were seeing him announce that he was entering the transfer portal. Now, part of me thought it could happen. I thought it was very unlikely that he was going to leave, but what were your guys' thoughts? It did come as a little bit of a surprise, especially given the fact it was 6 a.m. when he announced his decision.
Yeah, I was shocked, honestly. I mean, when I woke up, and that's the first thing I saw from JD this morning, I was like, what? I wasn't even awake yet. And I look, I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, what? And then I finally woke up and read it. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, what just happened? And like you said, TJ, I knew it was a possibility, but I definitely, personally, I thought there was no way he was going to transfer. I thought if anything else, there would just be another QB battle next year and he would win again or whatever. But definitely didn't think transferring was really a huge option for him this year.
Yeah, I think we knew going into the offseason that we would probably have a transfer coming out of that quarterback room, whether it was McCord or Devin Brown. I think Lincoln King-Holtz was pretty locked in to stay another year. But with Aaron Nolan coming in next season, especially he's going to be an early rival. I think he's going to be showing up in January. There's definitely pressure on that quarterback room. So it wasn't super surprising to me. I didn't expect Kyle McCord to be the guy. I thought it was going to be Devin Brown. And it still might be Devin Brown from what we're hearing. So we might end up losing 2 of our 3 quarterbacks from this season, and we might only have Lincoln King-Holtz in this game against Missouri coming up.
But don't forget about Tristan Gebbia.
You want to waste everybody's time?
I'm just saying.
I'm telling you. You want to waste everyone's time and give them a reason not to watch that game? Put in Tristan Gebbia at quarterback. That'll give every.
I'll just say, well, he's still there.
He's still there. He's going to be an emergency quarterback for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeff says McCord should go to Rutgers. They love statues in New York. Listen. I get it. Okay, there's a good portion of the fan base that is doing somersaults, partying that Kyle McCord's gone. You know what? Wish him the best of luck, seriously. He just wasn't good enough for Ohio State standards. That's all it came down to. Well, I know you don't, but clearly that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue 12-1 as a starter, over 3,000 passing yards. But on the other hand, from a fan's perspective, I could see why people are happy he's gone. I mean, let's be honest, Marvin Harrison Jr. is not going to be back next year. So that was his safeguard at all times.
Yeah.
McCord had a tough time getting to the second and third progressions this year, and it showed. We just happened to have the best receiver in football on our team, and he was able to clean up a lot of those potential very bad throws that McCord had. But McCord also had a lot of really, really good plays. But like you guys have been saying, wish him the best. Kind of surprising to see him go this early in the portal window.
Now the question comes down to, guys, because this is the question. What do the Buckeyes do? Well, actually, you know what? Before we get to that, tell me how much you guys believe if this report is accurate, okay?
I was wondering if we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, we're going to. So it's from Bucknuts. That is where a lot of I'm subscribed to Bucknuts. They give you a lot of really good recruiting content, a lot of good information on Ohio State football. Apparently, there was a meeting between Kyle McCord's dad and Ryan Day. And they wanted assurances that Kyle McCord was going to be the starting quarterback moving forward. And Ryan Day told him that would not be the case. He said he was not going to guarantee him the starting job. He said he wanted Kyle to stay, but he was not going to just hand him the starting quarterback job. And from there, it was decided that Kyle McCord would look elsewhere, because it sounded like from the conversation that they were going to bring somebody in to compete with Kyle McCord at quarterback. Do you guys believe there is truth to that?
I think Jordan. Yeah, PD.
I think, like you said, Nick, if anything, it was definitely going to come down to another quarterback battle, whether that's with Devin Brown, Aaron Nolan, Lincoln, all going at it next year. Kyle wanted the reassurance that he was the starter still, and as it turns out, he probably was told that he was going to have to go through what he went through this offseason with the quarterback battle. So, yeah, I think that if that wasn't the exact scenario, it was probably pretty close to it. And we just saw the ramification of it with Kyle McCord entering the transfer portal today. So, wish him the best of luck. I was more of a fan than I think TJ and a lot of other guys were. I didn't think the issues that he showed on the football field were things that he could not overcome this offseason and then come back even better next year. And I know I said it during the season, sometimes, quarterbacks, it takes time, and you can't expect the quarterback to come in and light the world on fire. And he truthfully didn't lose us that Michigan game. No. I knew he threw 2 picks. One was pretty bad in the red zone, but our defense didn't do anything to help him in that game. So it's a team game. I'm definitely not here calling for his head after that loss. We didn't even get to talk about the Michigan game, but it was a close game. We lost to 6 points against a team that's ranked number 1 in the country at their place. So
yeah, I'm with you, Jordan. I know we could touch on Michigan just super quickly. Defense didn't really do us a whole lot of favors. I mean, we lost the turnover battle. Defense wasn't even close to forcing one. McCarthy was able to make plays every time he needed to. That last drive that Michigan had to drain the clock was just absolutely brutal. There was multiple instances the defense had Michigan 3rd and short, and Michigan just found a way to convert every single time. And they were just running straight up the middle. We knew what was coming. We knew what was coming every single time, and they just wanted it more. And it definitely showed. And, yeah, I don't put that loss on McCord either. Could he have played better? Sure. But like you said, Jordan, also, it's a team football game, and the team in general just didn't really show up to play. They didn't really seem like they were playing with a lot of intensity. It was just kind of a snooze fest from this Buckeye offense, and the defense just couldn't come up with the stop when we needed it the most.
Yeah, you guys said it all in Michigan. That summed it all up right there. The cheaters beat us again.
It just sucks 3 years in a row.
Yeah,
it does. Listen, I was calling for Ryan Day to be fired. He gets another year. I'll tell you this: you lose 4 times in a row and lose twice in a row at home, you're gone. Bye. But anyway, why is Kyle McCord's dad the one meeting with Ryan Day?
It was Kyle McCord and his dad.
I'm sure Kyle was there.
But
okay, they worded it differently to where
I'm sure Kyle was there.
Yeah, I'm sure Kyle was there, but you also have to think.
I would hope he was there.
Yeah. I'm just gonna preface this with we are in a completely different environment. Kyle McCord is probably receiving funds from the university through NIL, and most of these players have agents, and so Kyle McCord is probably represented. His agent is his dad.
Yeah.
So, which is what you see. You see that in soccer a lot. Honestly, it's family members that represent the player.
So I bet there was financial discussions as well as football starter application. But I don't think that's the issue at hand. I think that just having the discussion and Ryan Day telling him, he's going to have to compete for another job. I don't think that's what he was looking for. And he's in the portal. So we'll just kind of see where he ends up. Like we said, wish him the best of luck. Who knows? We could see him on our schedule next year.
Very well could.
Very well could. That brings up the elephant in the room now. How do the Buckeyes replace Kyle McCord moving forward? In the bowl game, it's going to be I'm going to say it right now. It's going to be Brown or Keenholz. I find it hard to believe it's going to be Jebbia. I really do, because you want to get it. You want to see if one of those guys potentially is it could be your starter going in 2024. I'll say this too. I wouldn't rule out Devin Brown potentially leaving as well. I really wouldn't, but we'll see. Especially if Keenholz does get the nod against Missouri, Devin Brown very well might leave. All right. Here's the list of quarterbacks that are currently available into the transfer portal right now. These rankings are according to 24/7 Sports. So at number 1, they have Aiden Childs from Oregon State, who, by all accounts, is going to Michigan State to join his former head coach, Jonathan Smith. Dante Moore is number 2. Ohio State has had a lot of interest in Dante Moore. He nearly became a Buckeye last year. Next up, Cam Ward out of Washington State. Will Howard is number 4, Kansas State's quarterback. He will be a graduate transfer. Riley Leonard, former Duke quarterback, another graduate transfer. Dylan Gabriel, who's playing about his 20th year of college football. He is the next one. Really surprised that he's transferred from Oklahoma. Number 8, we skipped number 7 because it's Kyle McCord. Number 8 is DJ Ugalele. He is transferring again from Oregon State. He will be a grad transfer. Number 9 is Will Rogers, but there are reports that he will be going to Washington. So we'll see if that ends up happening. And then number 10 is Tyler Van Dyke from Miami. So those are just 10. I mean, there's many more guys that are available. There will be many more that become available. But right now, guys, given that list of names, who intrigues you the most that you would like to see the Buckeyes add to more than likely be the starting quarterback next year?
I won a Super Bowl with Tyler Van Dyke in Madden when I uploaded the draft classes, so I would love him as a Buckeye. In all seriousness, I think Ward out of Washington State brings a lot of things that we were missing this season with Kyle McCord in terms of playmaking ability, his feet. He's got a really good arm, and then he's got the experience. So I think we could either lean towards bringing in an experienced guy that's kind of on a 1-year deal that you're going to get just one season out of him, with Aaron Nolan coming in as our highest quarterback recruit since Terrell Pryor, I believe, in the country. So bringing in Aaron Noland, you want a guy that's a little bit more experienced for a year to let Aaron Noland get his feet under him and then start him as a redshirt freshman. I could see that being the case. So you're looking either Cam Ward or Taylor Gabriel. And either of those guys, like I said, the mobility, the playmaking ability, the arm strength, they have everything you want in that package with the experience. So I would like one of those two guys. I don't know where they are at in terms of NIL discussions. This whole thing has been super weird to me because it's just like NFL free agency, but we don't really.
We got another quarterback that just entered the transfer portal, actually. Buckeye fans have been not all. There have been Buckeye fans that have been asking for Daquan Finn from Toledo.
No way.
Player of the year.
No.
Has just entered the transfer portal. He has 88 total touchdowns in 3 years.
Bro, do not give me a MAC quarterback in the no.
I only mentioned it because there have been a lot of Buckeye fans that have mentioned him. That's the only reason why I mentioned it. I'm not a fan.
But dude, did you watch that MAC championship game?
He was brutal
against Miami. Are you kidding me? No way.
He was so bad. He was
personally. I'm in the Gabriel boat, dude. I love Riley Leonard. That kid is tough. He's versatile.
He's also very mobile too.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I really like the way Riley Leonard plays. He runs really when he's running the football. He runs really hard too, and he like you said, Jordan, like Cam Ward. They just bring a different element to the game that we didn't really have this year. So, I mean, obviously Cam Ward's probably number one on a lot of Buckeye fans' lists just because of his versatility. But yeah, I really like Gabriel from Oklahoma, and then I'm with Riley Leonard. I think those are my top three. But I know Leonard's been really connected to Notre Dame early on today. But I mean, obviously there's still some time in between to kind of figure out how it all shakes out.
Hey Nick, What did you say you wanted from your quarterback?
What? Oh man, I need some swagger, dude. And like Cam Ward brings that. I feel like Gabriel can bring that also. Riley Leonard, he's cool too, but. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're going to swagger level, dude, give me Ward all day long. But wow,
this is a great comment.
Comment there, Jeff.
Jeff says for those who are going to end up listening to the audio version, Jeff's weighed in and says, as a white dude, I say this with all due respect: no more white quarterbacks. I mean, obviously, he's kidding. Well, kind of. First off, we do have like 20 people watching us on Twitter. So first off, thank you guys. If you have any questions or comments, join us on YouTube, Network 216 on YouTube, and we'll answer any questions or comments you guys have. So just a reminder there. For me, it's Cam Ward. It's 100% Cam Ward. It's always been Cam Ward. It just makes way too much sense for 1 year. You have a guy that can sling it everywhere. He's mobile. He can create play. You need a mobile quarterback in college football. You can't have a guy that's just going to be back there unless you're Michael Penix and can make every throw in the book. You need somebody that can extend plays. That's Cam Ward. Right. Also, I like Dylan Gabriel. I don't think it's going to happen only because from all accounts, it looks like Mississippi State because his former offensive coordinator became the head coach there. That would make a lot. I mean, that connection's pretty easy to make there. Riley Leonard, I don't know what's happening there. There have been reports that said that there have been contact between his camp and Ohio State. The interesting part is Riley Leonard has a no contact clause. I don't know how that means Ohio State contact. I'm assuming his camp reached out to Ohio State. Riley Leonard would make a lot of sense. The only thing that concerns me about Leonard is the durability. He has struggled with that throughout his career, so that worries me. And then the one other name, and I'm going to stay away from Dante Moore, even though I personally like him. I think they do want a guy who's going to be more of a 1-year stopgap so that you can probably keep Lincoln Kienholz, Aaron Nolan in the fold. The other name I'm going to mention, and it's not necessarily my top choice, but I would get it, it's DJ Uiagalelei coming out of Oregon State. He's he's not great. Like, he's not a guy that's going to light it up. He's a power quarterback. He's going to run the ball. That adds another dimension to the team. He does have a cannon for an arm. And I think he also just needs a better system. I think Ryan Day could get the best out of him, former 5-star quarterback. So That's where I would look. If I had to pick one guy, it would be Cam Ward, and my backup would be Riley Leonard. But
Dude, I like DJ.
I don't know what's going on with Leonard, to be honest with you guys.
Ukulele would be kind of sick. I ain't gonna lie, because I mean, not only does he have a cannon, but I mean that dude is big. Like he's just like a big dude. So like, if the pocket can, like, for example, I know this is kind of out there, but like he's fourth and shorts, and we can't run quarterback sneak with Kyle McCord. Like we need like kind of a bigger body that can just go under center and get you that 1-2 yards. Because like obviously, I feel like in this Michigan game, if Devin Brown's healthy, he's probably going to go and get you those short yardage. But
I would agree with that.
Forward, I mean, obviously, like Riley Leonard, Ukulele, they're big-bodied dudes. They're going to be able to get you those short yardage conversions. And who knows, they may only have 10, 20 yards rushing in a game. But those could be 3 first downs in a football game, just on their legs. They're just getting those short yardage that – it doesn't always have to be a handoff to your running back. You can go pick it up on the ground with your QB.
Can I ask you guys a question real quick?
Go ahead.
There are a lot of Buckeye fans out there. It's not us, but there are those guys out there that are like, well, if Ohio State, if their solution for Kyle McCord is replace them with a guy like Riley Leonard, for instance, or DJ Ugalele, when Kyle McCord had more stats, they're basically saying those guys aren't good enough for Ohio State. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Do you agree that they're not good enough, or do you think also, which is where I'm at, situation matters too? Riley Leonard doesn't have Cardinal Tate. He's not going to have Brandon Enos at Duke or Notre Dame, wherever this guy goes. Same with DJ Ugalele. He doesn't have this talent at receiver. Like, situation matters when looking at some of these guys, not just their overall stats.
Yeah, in college football for sure. Like, situation matters, and there's so many tiers between that top level, like those top 10 teams, and then everybody else. So, like, if you're coming from Duke or you're coming from Oregon State, like, your talent level between Oregon State and Ohio State, like, you're taking a step up with the group you're working with. Your wide receiver group's going to be better. Your offensive line is going to be better. Your defense is going to be better. Like, everything's elevated around you. So the stats you put up on those inferior teams doesn't matter as much. Granted, and that being said, like, it also depends. Like, if you're in a really pass-heavy offense and you're putting up crazy numbers, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be putting up crazy numbers on a team that runs the ball a little bit more. So, like, I don't think it's as much. I think in these situations with the transfer portal, I think a lot of it goes back to high school recruiting and what you were evaluated at coming out of high school. Like the Dante Moore situation, like, he did not put up good numbers when he played, and he did not play well this past year. But everybody seems to want him just because he came out as the number 1 player, number 2 player, just based off his high school. They're using that argument of, like, he wasn't used correctly, he wasn't put in a good situation. So it is an interesting dynamic that we're, I think, for the first time really experiencing, because I know the transfer portal has been around the last couple of years, but I think this is the first year schools have finally figured out how to use their NIL. Coaches are starting to see the value in going into transfer portals, and the money is finally there to, like, entice these really big players to come play for you.
Robert with a great comment. My guy Riley Leonard would be great. I live in North Carolina and watched him. He's like Josh Allen, like the way he's built. Like said, the dude's a beast. So real quick, I'm going to just read off. So Riley Leonard, when he was healthy, and I stress this enough because he was not fully healthy this year, so his numbers took a step back. But in 2022, his last healthy season as Duke's starting quarterback, completed 64% of his passes, nearly 3,000 yards, 7.6 yards per attempt, 20 touchdowns, 6 picks, quarterback rate of 141.5. Also rushed for nearly 700 yards on 124 carries and had 13 touchdowns for Riley Leonard. Now,
that's what I'm saying.
Dude. And then Ugalele. So DJ Ugalele stats from this past year. Completion percentage, not great, 57.1. I also don't think there's as much talent at Oregon State as there was at Clemson when he was there in 2022. But anyway, 2,600 yards, 21 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, ran for another 6 touchdowns, 219 yards. I'm glad Jeff brought up this guy. He has not entered the portal. Michael Pratt out of Tulane is another name to watch this year. Michael Pratt. He threw for 2,400 yards, 22 touchdowns, 5 picks. They also have a really good run game at Tulane, so it's not like he needed to throw a ton. I mean, the most interceptions he's thrown in his career has been 8. He's been a 4-year starter. He also this year has run for 300 yards, 5 touchdowns. So I don't know, man. I'm kind of I'll admit, the more I've dove into Riley Leonard, I'm a little bit more intrigued with him. I don't know if they're going to be able to get that one over the line, especially if the Notre Dame info is as accurate as we think it might be. But I'll tell you, he might end up being a really good fit here.
A lot of cheddar involved.
Well, how much? How much do you guys? So Matt Rule said $1.5 million to $2 million for a starting quarterback.
Absolutely.
Does that sound about right?
He's not far off at all. Yeah. Absolutely. If you want to get the top tier, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't know what Ohio State's number is. Like, they might not be offering as much as Notre Dame, just because they know Notre Dame's, or because they know what we have coming in. Notre Dame's a little bit more desperate. Their quarterback room's kind of empty right now, considering they just had Sam Hartman come in, and like that's
literally
crazy.
It's empty.
I don't think they have anybody. I think Sam Hartman's leaving. Like I don't know who it would be. Brand new class. Like they have to. Notre Dame's definitely going to be addressing it in the portal. USC's definitely going to be addressing it in the portal.
And Michigan might. Well, I know they got that kid that came in and ran a couple times against Ohio State, but I'm sure Michigan's going to keep their eyes open too if McCarthy ends up declaring, which he very well could.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh do the funniest thing ever?
There's a lot of movement.
What if they did the funniest thing ever? You know what I'm going to say.
What, McCord to Michigan?
It's Kyle McCord.
Oh, bro. It's on site for McCord then. It's on site, son. You can't do that, dude.
Man, he's going to be on a 5-1 team.
That would be brutal.
You can go about anywhere else in the Big Ten. I would wish him well, but you go to the team up north, man. Ooh, that's tough for me.
I'll even say if he's not going.
It's just
even if he went to Michigan State, I would say almost the same.
It's just another game for him, though, so it's no big deal.
Someone proposed, this is the last thing we'll get to, this scenario. This isn't going to happen. I thought it was interesting, though, because they brought up the background that we got during the Penn State game. What if Drew Allaire decides he wants to enter the portal and they switch? Drew Allaire comes to Ohio State. Kyle McCord goes to Penn State.
I'm with it, dude.
I pass.
That would be nuts.
I don't think Allaire's set up to succeed at Penn State right now. That's just
as long as James Franklin's there. I don't know who is set up to succeed at Penn State.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Well, can I get off the quarterback conversation real quick?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just to acknowledge, we have had more transfer portal guys. Quite a few of our DBs have transferred. The big ones.
By Jair Brown, right?
Cam Martinez. Yeah, you said Brown. Yeah, so we've had quite a few. I know Jermaine Matthews has been active on Twitter today. I know he's trying to secure some cheddar as well.
That dude transfers, bro. Like, I'm done.
You're
gonna be a starter here, dude, and you're gonna just because you don't get the money you want, you're gonna leave. That's just cruel. I'm sorry, dude. I think that's ridiculous.
If he stays.
Literally, George, you're correct. He will be a first rounder if he stays.
And it's not like he's not getting money.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure he's getting plenty of money. It's just not as much as he wants. He did delete the tweet, by the way.
Did he?
I bet the DB coach probably told him to.
Yeah. So that's been an issue. And then I wouldn't say an issue, but just something to acknowledge. And then wide receiver Julian Fleming has entered the transfer portal. We kind of saw that coming. He's been at Ohio State for 4 years. We have a huge influx of talent coming in. So no surprise there. Wish him the best of luck. He's been one of my favorite Buckeyes. Just he plays hard and blocks hard, and like I said in the group chat, he's going to make a great late round pro. Hopefully, he can earn himself a higher draft pick somewhere else if he puts up some good numbers this year. He's definitely got the talent. He was in the same recruiting class as Marvin Harrison and was the top receiver in the recruiting class. So I think Penn State might be a good location for him.
No, I would agree with that. Wish Fleming all the best for sure.
Well, and then I think
writing was on the wall, man. The writing was on the wall, and I'm really surprised he stayed as long as he did. I am. I thought he could have left a year, 2 years ago. That's just the way I felt. It just seemed like he was consistent. Even though he was starting, he was the odd man out, it seemed like, as far as targets, pretty much everything in this offense. But wish him the best. Jair Brown, not gonna lie, that one kind of stings. You were relying on him to potentially be your nickel corner next year, so that one kind of stings. Outside of that, I mean, you're losing guys at the bottom of the rock. Huh?
Evan Pryor's one that I just feel like we never got a chance to see him. So that, I mean, it kind of sucks. It's like, what could it have been, with him? So that just kind of stings a little because you just don't know, and he might wherever he might go, man, he might go light it up, dude.
Mike Williams also declared for the draft as well today. So our running back room is looking pretty much like Dallin Hayden's going to take it over.
If he doesn't leave.
He's going to be the only guy there. Why would you?
We do have 3 running backs coming in next year too.
We have 3 running backs coming in.
Yeah. Well, right now we do. There's a good chance Miami's flipping 4-star running back Jordan Lyle, but we'll see. There's a good chance they're going to end up flipping him. But
as of right now, we have 3.
So I do want to touch on that just right before we hop off. The Miami's flipping our recruits thing. I think we lost Scott in the D line. So they're promising a lot of money to these recruits that have already committed to Ohio State, and they're trying to flip them to go to Miami to stay in Florida, stay near home. Did you guys see that Texas A&M player that got recruited last year? I don't remember what his name was, but he was talking about how basically that Texas A&M was doing the same thing. They're enticing all these players with money, and then they're not paying up. And
I'm sure that's happening a lot.
And I honestly think it's probably everywhere. These teams that are flashing money to recruits, whether it's Texas A&M, Miami, trying to get these big recruits to play for them, and then they're not paying up. I'm sure it's happening everywhere. So, you at the end of the day, you got to make the best decision for you, but also be a little bit informed when you make your decision. Make sure you get that check clear so it doesn't bounce. That's all I got to say.
Oh, goodness.
No, yeah. Well, it's going to be a busy while, that's for sure. As we see who else enters the transfer portal. Ohio State has already lost 12 players to the transfer portal. That number is expected to grow. So far, it's only been 2 starters, and the rest are bottom of the roster guys. So far, not too shabby.
What is this like I haven't been keeping up with any other team, but is this kind of a trend around the country? Or a lot of
Texas A&M's lost. Texas A&M's lost a ton of guys. Who's another team that has? Notre Dame. Vanderbilt's lost nearly their entire starting offense.
Colorado, I'm sure they're going to have some people going out.
Colorado's lost about 15 to 20 guys to the transfer portal already. So
it's not just us.
It's happening everywhere across the country. USC has lost a decent amount of people already. I mean, college football is NFL free agency.
The landscape is just so crazy, dude. It's so wild.
Can you guys see there being like NCAA revisiting this and kind of applying more limitations, or do you think it's kind of here to stay?
I don't really know what limitations they can really apply. You opened up the floodgates to these guys being able to get good money. I don't know. Now, if you would have started this at a baseline, they didn't do that. They opened it up right away, and now only going to get more insane. There's going to be some recruit down the line that'll sign somewhere for $10 million. It's going to happen at some point, somewhere. And then those numbers are just going to increase. And we're going to hear about, well, so-and-so, RJ Day, son, he's going to sign somewhere for $6 million. It's coming. Whatever school offers the most money. In some cases, we saw with Justin Scott, wish him all the best. He went for the money. And you knew that also based off the graphic that was posted with him announcing his commitment to Miami, and there's money all over the graphic. So wish these guys all the best. Truly, I do. Go get the money you think. But the grass isn't always greener just because you get more money. Doesn't mean you're better off as far as becoming an NFL prospect. So we'll see what happens. All right, gentlemen. Is there anything else you want to add before we wrap up this episode? Like I said, I'm sure we'll be talking transfer portal every single episode from now until spring ball.
Or backup kickers on the transfer portal.
Wow. That's great.
We lost them.
Great insight.
How could you? Fire day.
Well, thank you, everyone that tuned into this episode of the Scarlet and Gray podcast. Had a decent amount of viewers tonight. There was a lot to talk about, and of course, there will be this off season. We really appreciate you guys tuning into this episode of the Scarlet and Gray podcast. I believe it was episode. Actually, I've lost track of what episode it is. But anyway, we're well over 40 now, I believe. So, pretty big milestone there. We will talk to you guys all next Monday. As always, go Buckeyes.